With Assassin's Creed Shadows being delayed by 5 months, there's now this insane rumor that Yasuke is either being cut down or removed from the game. You know it's not true. I know it's not true. Most importantly, the media knows it's not true, but because Paul Tassi said it as a one-off comment in a single article, these outlets are running with it as a way to gain clicks and rage bait and spread propaganda. Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idol, and yes, if you hadn't seen from The Gamer, Assassin's Creed Shadows can't remove Yasuke with this delay. Yeah, no kidding. Anyone that knows a shred about game development would know that. But that's not why they're writing this article. They're not trying to inform you that, hey, you individuals that might be speculating on this, you're incorrect. No, they're writing it for one reason and one reason only. To virtue signal about racism. So we're going to go ahead and get into this article before we do hit that subscribe button. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day. And this is such an insane article, but of course it's by Stacey Henley, which if you guys remember is one of those is the editor-in-chief of The Gamer and one of those women or dudes that cosplay as women. So yeah, they live in that sort of fantasy, so of course they make up a racism fantasy as well. Assassin's Creed Shadows has been delayed by 5 months to February 2025, which I assume you already knew. If not, sorry for breaking the news so bluntly. The main thing, see, and that's how we know you're actually a dude, because women would have just dropped hints and wouldn't have given it to us straight like that. The main thing this delay buys is time for the PC version to be ready for launch at the same time, but also allows for some other tweaks to be made to the game's presentation and gameplay. However, one thing that will absolutely not happen is for Yasuke to be written out of the story. Again, nobody thought that was going to be the case. I mean, we can wish it was going to be the case, because homie's got absolutely no business being there, at least as the main playable character. But yeah, anyone that knows, again, a shred of anything about game design didn't think this was the case. Also, as far as it to be ready at launch time, if it weren't for the failure of Star Wars Outlaws, they were going to release this as is. It is only because that game performed so poorly that they're pushing it back. So, this isn't the saving grace you think it is. Yasuke is the main character of Shadows, which again, I assume you knew. He's also black, which comes with the same assumption. He was also a real historical figure in feudal Japan, a fact around which there is no debate. There is some debate over what sort of rank he achieved serving in the samurai forces, but if you think misgivings about the complex minutiae of the writings from the Sengoku period is the real reason why Yasuke has become a controversial figure, I've got a goose bridge to sell you. Well, here's the dealio, that is the reason, but you can't accept that because you can't have your this is all because of racism narrative that you so desperately want to push because virtue signaling is the only way you will get clicks on your garbage website. It would almost be impressive if we hadn't seen it time and time again. Like have you ever really watched any of those movies and they make a sequel and the sequel is like just the same movie but with a lower budget and straight to DVD? That's what all these articles about racism and diversity in gaming have become. Like, okay, I can enjoy a bad movie now and again as well, and I can even enjoy a bad sequel now and again as well. But when you're on, like, Friday the 13th, number 9, I'm sorry, I'm gonna check out. The true reason is racism. I told you, so this is where I stopped reading the article. I was like, okay, I got what I needed. Let's go ahead and do a bit of a read through this, give it some fresh eyes. So I'm going to be learning from this point on. Everything in the article is new to me. But that right there, the true reason is racism, tells you everything that you need to know about what they think of you as the gamer, as a customer, as if you didn't know that already. It's sort of ironic that they keep saying up here, oh, you probably knew this, you probably knew that. Yeah, well, we know what you think of us, yet you continue to write this absolute dog shit. Some people don't like the idea of playing as a black man, and that has spiraled. Nobody does. Nobody cares about playing as a black man. We care about playing as a black historical figure in a franchise that has never let you, A, play as a historical figure before, and B, it's set in Japan, and it's called Assassin's Creed. Like, this is... But we all know that. I'm just retreading a dead horse. They're beating a dead horse, retreading, proven grounds, whatever it may be. Just, it's so baffling to me that they're still going with the racism narrative as if they're going to convince anybody else, and they're trying to use the lies that people believe. Oh, they're rewriting the game and delaying it to take out Yasuke. Nobody believes that. I don't think it's that simple either. Many of the chief agitators are not necessarily motivated purely by racism. Don't get me wrong, that's still a motivating factor apparently, but in the knowledge that acting outraged about Yasuke is a quick ticket to clout and clicks. Well, isn't you writing articles about people who are acting outraged about Yasuke also a quick ticket to clout and clicks? Like, look, Pot's kind of calling the kettle Yasuke here. Of course, to a certain point, you have to wonder what the difference is. It's less likely this strategy is working, and more that Shadows is an easy target. The game has struggled to make much of an impact above the noise, with mixed messaging from Ubisoft and uninspiring visuals. At least I'll give you points for being honest about all of that. Shadows is aiming for the same levels of photorealism as best-in-class games like Horizon or Ghost of Tsushima, but falls short. Combat also looks clunky and typical of Assassin's Creed formula. This has failed to evolve much since Odyssey, if not longer. I think it's unfair that Shadows is being weighed down by the trolls disguising their animosity with the respectable gloss of historical accuracy, but there's also not a lot I've seen that makes me want to go to bat for it either. I mean, this actually, I've not read this article yet, so, what can I say? The fact that you're even trying to, acknowledging, hey, this is not going to be a game of the year, this is going to be just another Assassin's Creed game, is almost worth commendation. But let's see what you say next, because I bet I'm about to eat those fucking words. This puts it in a tough position. It cannot and should not remove Yasuke or alter much of the narrative. In post, this is one of the hardest things to fix in gaming, as it requires new animations, new cutscenes, and new lines recorded, and that's before you even get to what might need to be tweaked with the levels, progression, and gameplay design if you airlift out the central character or diminish his role. I mean, not really. I've seen modders replace entire characters with separate characters, and it's just a model swap. Now, yes, what would actually be difficult is all the dialogue that would need change. Again, like they said, the cutscenes. It's just like, it's not actually as difficult as they think, as they're trying to make it out to be here, but it's also not happening, so it's not really there's no real reason to talk about it. Ubisoft needs to stay the narrative course. However, there will be some pressure with Ubisoft to limit Yasuke's involvement as best they can, yet pressure probably from the Japanese, whose homeland this is adapting to and who were pretty upset to the point where Ubisoft needed to issue an apology letter. So, I mean, yeah, the pressure's there. It's just not only from these angry white racists as you want to portray it, or you want to acknowledge that, okay, yeah, Asians can be pretty racist too. To be fair, though, I think you're okay with that. You hold black people to such a high regard, Black Lives Matters in your bio and whatnot, and who is it committing most of the Asian hate? I feel like you would actually acknowledge that Asians are racist and sort of champion it, use as a way to denigrate them if it means supporting your black brethren here. There's no way to do that. These people have not been reasoned into their views, and they are not being truthful about them, and thus cannot be reasoned out. If you see this, have a conversation with me. Really. Like an honest to God, good faith conversation. Because you're right, I can't be reasoned out of my views. At least, I can't if you can't. If you're willing to acknowledge that you could be wrong, and that maybe there is an intrinsic and inherent issue with what is happening in Assassin's Creed Shadows, and frankly with gaming at large, if you are willing to sit down and have a legitimate good faith conversation and acknowledge you might be wrong, then I will happily do the same. I highly doubt you'll do that, though, because you are the actual grifter. What we're doing, sure, it's outrageous, sure, it makes money, but we're not being unethical and we're not lying. Like we might be hyperbolic, but at the end of the day, what we're saying is truthful, you just don't like that truth. You, on the other hand, are actually making money blatantly lying, which is what grifting actually is. A far better strategy would be to look at why no one else seems to care about Shadows beyond those screaming for its head on a pike. That won't keep the mob from your door, but it may recruit defenders to your cause. Shadows will not escape the weight of the Assassin's Creed formula, but modernizing combat, look, I don't care about that. Like, you're talking about how the game isn't being, your title doesn't even seem to really care about the substance of the article. Assassin's Creed Shadows can't remove Yasuke with this delay. You haven't even talked about that so far, and we've got 2 paragraphs left? Like, yeah, no one was saying it was, even in your own article. You don't say it was. Shadows will not escape the weight of Assassin's Creed formula, but modernizing combat to offer higher quality control and endless upgrades and special attacks that all feel the same would be a start. The demo I saw at SGF pushed the elements of immersive sim gameplay, manipulating lights and using the weather, but neither felt fully realized. Lights were turned off without characters moving, removing the immersive from the sim, and weather never had a noticeable impact on gameplay despite being pushed hard as a selling point. Make gameplay more tactile, give the weather a purpose. Okay, so you're still not talking about removing Yasuke. Right now, all the noise being made by the anti-woke cabal, and you're not a cabal of pro-wokies and the ones that actually do hold the power because you are in the industrious systems. You're the ones that are actually hold the journalistic power, the ones that can write the articles that are going to get the clicks. I mean, Again, I feel like you're trying to sell yourselves as the underdog here when you're at the top of the chain, when you will control the hierarchy, and you don't like us little rabble-rousers finally getting to have a say. Shadows isn't enough to make any noise at all. Removing Yasuke is impossible. Okay, so we're at the end of the article, and we finally get what you're saying in the headline, with, what, 3 sentences left? Trying to find a compromise with these people will not silence their songs, only embolden them. I mean, yes it would, and that's a good thing, because we are the paying customer. Ubisoft needs to use this delay to encourage others to rally its side, drown the noise out. Otherwise, their songs will be just as loud when Shadows launches next February. Well, no. There's not going to be any loud songs. We're really not even going to celebrate for more than, I don't know, a typical 3 to 4 day news cycle, and then move on to whatever the next big, bad, evil, woke boogeyman is. Like that's just sort of the way these things go. But that's only the way these things go because these companies keep doing this and keep propagating this nonsense. If they were to stop and just put good games first, then you'd get your wish. All of us anti-woke rabble-rousers would shut the hell up. I mean, granted, it would be because wokeness has been removed from the gaming space, but that's not altogether a bad thing, considering look at the 25,000 plus layoffs that have happened in the last year and a half. Look at the complete and utter failures of games like Concord and Dustborn, Star Wars Outlaws, and soon-to-be Assassin's Creed Shadows. Maybe even Ghost of Yotei, if the rumors are true. I think the jury's still out on that one and people are jumping the gun, but hey, who's to say? My point is, maybe you just need to pack it in, admit you're wrong, and also when you write an article that has a headline like that, don't wait till the last paragraph of the article and 3 sentences to acknowledge it, because this was just honest filler that wasn't even worth my time, but I'm 11 minutes into this video, so it's certainly getting released. But those are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X, where you can find me at Bolt the Word. And please do subscribe. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day. Not always about the state of the gaming industry, but anime, movies, music, Magic the Gathering, you name it. Check me out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon, and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the articles I go over on a day-to-day basis, choose the videos I react to on my Friday night live streams, and of course, get involved with over 80 other vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to grow even further, because we do care about diversity. Only one kind of diversity of thought. If that's interesting to you, join the Discord, hit subscribe, and until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.